Sure. That's good. Good. Thank you. Every Yom Tiv has a program. Shoshana has a program, Kippur has a program, Chanukah has a program. Every Yom Tiv has a program. The program that a Yom Tiv has really has to do with the inner dynamics of that Yom Tiv. So for example, when it's Rosh Hashanah being that it's the beginning of the year, the head of the year, so it's the time of the year that we take upon ourselves and accept upon ourselves Hashem as the king. And that's the awareness we have throughout the whole Yom Tiv of Rosh Hashanah, throughout the both days of Rosh Hashanah. That's the awareness we have. Yom Kippur also, the awareness is Tshuva. Every Yom Tiv has a message, a theme, an awareness. So you have when we celebrate also, or make a Farbrengen, especially to commemorate something that happened, so we need to look at what we're commemorating and see if that gives us, if that fuels the fire. When we celebrate the day of Yud Beis Tammuz, which is the day the previous Rebbe went out of prison, so we celebrate that day, having the awareness that what a great miracle Hashem did. Before the previous Rebbe, we know that it could have been whatever it could have been, and Hashem saved him. Was a big miracle. So every holiday, every Yontif, every time we commemorate, we have a Farbrengen. So it's there to remember, to focus, to be aware about something. The message of that day. Rosh Chodesh Kislev today. So the first thing that we encounter when we think about the day is the fact that it's Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh is a special day, as we started saying before. They used to bring special karbanos, special sacrifices. Rosh Chodesh is a special day. Rosh Chodesh is also a day of a certain atonement that they had. We say Hallel on Rosh Chodesh. It's joyous. So now, in addition to the joy, so coming today, in addition to the joy that we need to feel just because it's Rosh Chodesh, whether or not you are accustomed to celebrate Rosh Chodesh or not, doesn't take away from the joy of the day. And in addition to that, we also have another reason why we need to be extremely happy today. And that is Rosh Chodesh Kislev is the day that the miracle, they celebrate the miracle of health of the Rebbe. When the Rebbe had, in 1977, he had a heart attack. And he was so critical, it was, he was in between life and the opposite. And Rosh Chodesh Kislev, that subsided, that they commemorate, that was the day. Because we know to connect good things with good days, with special days. So Rosh Chodesh is a time the Rebbe went home, and that was a celebration that Chassidim had of that miracle. So the Rebbe's daughter said, the previous Rebbe's daughter said, the Rebbe's wife, that the joy that Chassidim had on Rosh Chodesh Kislev when the Rebbe went home, the last time she remembers that kind of joy by Chassidim was by Yud Bais Tammuz. That was the magnitude of the joy that they felt that we have the Rebbe back.
What was Yud Bais Tammuz?
Yud Bais Tammuz was the day that the Rebbe went out of prison, the previous Rebbe. I once heard an older chassid, they asked him, they said, what's Yud Bais Tammuz? He was there, Yud Bais Tammuz. A younger chassid asked him who wasn't there, and he wanted to get the flavor. It's almost like if you would ask me, what would it be like to be by a Farbrengen? Like if you were never there. And so you want me to tell you what go back and give you. But now we have the privilege of videos and all that. But at a time, Napoleon's March, there's no video. Or Simchas Torah, there's no video. What was it like to be there, Simchas Torah? Go back into the memories and play the tape for you. Only as good as my description would you be able to actually try to see what was going on, right? It's like you're already you're one step removed from it, so you don't really have the ability to have the experience in the fullest sense. So a chassid came to him, to the older chassid, and said, what was it like Yud Bais Tammuz? No videos, no recordings, there's writings. What was it like? What was the experience like? So the chassid, and the chassidim especially, were very sharp. Sharp meaning they were able to give messages in a very unique manner, deep. So he said to him, he says, what's Anechi Hashem Elokecha? That was what he said. What was he saying? What happened when Anechi Hashem Elokecha? Hashem introduced himself to the Jewish people. He says, I am a God, your God. Before they didn't know him. I mean, they knew him from stories and from the Makkas and all that, but they never actually had. It's like the government does things, you don't know them, you don't know the president, you never met him most of the time. When did they have that personal encounter with Hashem, with Anechi Hashem Elokecha? When Hashem says, I am God, your God. So what happened by Matan Torah? By Matan Torah, we had that experience of intimacy with Hashem. So the chassid was saying to him, Yud Bais Tammuz, we had that moment. We felt that moment of intimacy with the previous Rebbe. We felt we have the Rebbe. The kind of joy that you feel at that moment. So the same is true with Rosh Chodesh Kislev. Rosh Chodesh Kislev, this is what the Rebbetzin said. Rosh Chodesh Kislev, the last time Chassidim danced like this, like Rosh Chodesh Kislev, was Yud Beis Tammuz. Because this was what Chassidim were experiencing. This is what they were feeling, that they had the Rebbe. And if they have the Rebbe, the joy knows no bounds. So the truth is, if we really wanted to celebrate Rosh Chodesh Kislev in an authentic way, from where we should be and the awareness we should have, we should be standing, there should be a music playing, and we should be dancing and dancing and dancing and dancing until we fall, like we do on Simchas Torah. That would be authentic for a Rosh Chodesh Kislev celebration. Now, the challenge, at least for me, I can't talk about anybody else. I can't talk about my dear friend, but the challenge for me is it's easier saying that, but to get to that place is challenging. I mean, who am I kidding? I'm definitely not going to kid myself. I might try to kid one or two people, but I'm not going to kid myself. So we sit by a Farbrengen and we say, now instead of doing the dancing, now we're saying, why aren't we feeling that we should be dancing? Why aren't we in tune with that? Why aren't we in touch with that? I know that's what I should be feeling. I could also get up and do it, but I want to be, why am I not feeling that today is Rosh Chodesh Kislev, we have the Rebbe, and we should be dancing. It should be even hard to, like we on Simchas Torah, we're dancing with the Torah. So we're Farbrengen, we're saying, you know why? I'm saying to myself, you know why? Because there is a layer which is commonly known as klipa, universally known as klipa, which kind of is a layer that covers over the truth. And it makes it sometimes hard to have those real experiences, the real moments, the real awareness that we need to have. And we sit by a Farbrengen and we say, I turn to my good friend and I say, help me take away my klipa. And he turns to me and he says, help me take away my klipa. And you turn to him and he turns, and all together as one, as a unit. Nobody's here, nobody's there. We're all together. We're saying l'chaim. We care about each other. We wish the best for each other. So at that moment, we're here to help each other. Hashem is here. Hashem allows that to be present, that we should be able to help each other out in that way. So let's say l'chaim, let's sing a niggin, and let's try to get into the moment. And who knows what can happen? L'chaim, l'chaim.
L'chaim. Ram ma 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 ya ya ya
So that niggin that we just sang, the song that we just sang, you know the song, right? This is a Yud Beis Tammuz song. I mean, I don't know if it was done intentionally, but it was definitely by Shkach Pratis. We spoke about the Rebbe's, the Rebbetzin said that the last time she saw there was Chassidim with dancing like this was Yud Beis Tammuz. Wow. So there's a connection between Yud Beis Tammuz and Chodesh Kislev. So by Shkach Pratis, we started the niggin of Yud Beis Tammuz. Now there's another niggin of Chodesh Kislev. Now you can tell the difference in the nigunim. This one is, the hope. The niggin starts off and you feel the despair, and then at the end you feel Hashem, the hope that Hashem, the nest that Hashem did, that He took the Frierdiker Rebbe out of prison. Now listen to this niggin, and this is a niggin that, especially for Rosh Chodesh Kislev, we hear a different little bit of a different theme, a different feeling to it. Very different. No? So that's the Rosh Chodesh Kislev.
If there's any liquid before the water, then I haven't seen a liquid there. I know the scientific terms over here. But if there's any liquid before the water, then then it's not, then it's. Okay, so it's. Chips are amazing. I just discovered tonight, never heard this before, because if you have like the oil first. I've been celebrating Rosh Chodesh Kislev every year since I can remember. But I discovered something tonight about Rosh Chodesh Kislev I never heard before, which is that the Rebbe actually called Rosh Chodesh Kislev. David, on Yom Tov you're supposed to have a mitzvah, right, David, on Yom Tov you're supposed to have a mitzvah. No? Yes, we have to have a so it's good. So go wash. It's a good idea. So I'm going to tell you that the Rebbe called Rosh Chodesh Kislev a Yom Tov. I always consider and discuss how to define how to. Today I saw the Rebbe clearly said Rosh Chodesh Kislev is called, it's a good Rosh Chodesh and good Yom Tov. What does Yom Tov mean? What's the meaning of a Yom Tov? A Yom Tov means that there's more revelation of Hashem in the world, so a greater light of Hashem, and that's why Hashem tells us in a Yom Tov to go out of the here and now, go to the things you're used to doing, and get in touch with a special light of Hashem that shines in the day. So on a regular Yom Tov, let's say Rosh Hashanah, mitzvah of the day is Bol Shofar. In order to get in touch with the light of Hashem that day, Bol Shofar. On Yom Kippur, get in touch with the light of Hashem that day, you fast. On Sukkot, it's Luvan Esrog in the Sukkah. On Pesach, with the Matzah. So on Rosh Chodesh Kislev, how do you Bol Shofar? You Bol Shofar today by coming to Farbrengen. It's your first Farbrengen, right? So first Farbrengen, Baruch Hashem, is a special thing, but really more special is all of us should have our first Farbrengen. This should be the first time we have a Farbrengen. We should realize this is Taka blowing the shofar. Just like we blow the shofar for Rosh Hashanah, today Hashem tells us get in touch with the Yom Tov, you get to stick together with other Jews and Tzil HaChaim. That's you get in touch with the special light of Hashem. You go to work. It's Friday, Baruch Hashem, go off from work a little earlier. Parenthetically, there's a letter of the Rebbe about how many hours early you should come home from work on Fridays. Everybody writes out how the summertime and the winter time, how many hours early you should come. It shouldn't be like, oh, you work till sundown because you're a busy man, you have to make money. But this before Shabbos, you're supposed to come home a few hours earlier and to get in the mood of Shabbos. In a similar way, Rosh Chodesh Kislev, there's something special in the year that Hashem shines, and every day of the year has a different energy, and you're supposed to take from that day the energy for the whole year. So, and even at Farbrengen, there's different kinds of Farbrengens. Each Farbrengen is supposed to give you something for your neshama that you didn't have and you can't have on a different day. It's only this specific day, this specific energy, and from that day, you're supposed to draw energy for the whole year. It's sort of like different places that are once holy, they always stay holy, never stops. A place which is once holy always stays holy. So too in time, a time in which Hashem revealed himself in the world, and it caused a miracle to happen in the eyes of human beings, and in this case, eyes of doctors who didn't expect anything like this and predicted the worst premonitions. And this is not just a miracle that happened to one individual, but it's a miracle that happened to our Rebbe. And it's something that's meant to draw something in us and for us that we're supposed to take with us for the whole year. So as Rameir was mentioning before, the first step is you have to get rid of the klippah. We have to get rid of all the stuff we came in with. Everyone came in with different baggage. And then we can start getting in touch with what the Yom Tov is about. So Baruch Hashem, usually the dancing at the end of a bringing is like, and you get to the dancing. Rosh Chodesh Kislev is not like that. Rosh Chodesh Kislev is like as the Meir said. Rosh Chodesh Kislev, you start off. It's the Rebbe is gesund. The Rebbe recovered. It's a different kind of Yom Tov. It's a Yom Tov which calls forth different kind of attention, different kind of joy, different kind of connection. It could be said.
I just want to interject one thing. The Rebbe is gesund. If we understand Yiddish, the Rebbe is healthy. Went through a transition. First, they say the Rebbe is Ozain gesund. The song that they were singing, the Rebbe is Ozain gesund, the Rebbe is Ozain gesund, the Rebbe should be healthy, the Rebbe should be healthy. And then when Rosh Chodesh Kislev, then The Rebbe is gesund. The Rebbe is gesund. The Rebbe is gesund. That was the difference. Then they were already celebrating the health of the Rebbe.
So the word Kislev, which is Kislev, which has the whole energy of Kislev, is very associated with this great revelation of Hashem. Kislev has two words in it. Case Chav Samach comes the word concealment, and Lev Lamed Vav is equal to Ele, which is 36, which is something which means this. These are what they are. So the first half of the word is about concealment, and the second half of the word is about revelation. But what's hidden, this month is a month where Hashem gives us the power that which is usually hidden is revealed. That's why in this month, that's when Hashem gave us Kislev and the deepest teachings of the Torah allowed to be revealed. But it starts off with Rosh Chodesh Kislev. It starts off with that Hashem gives us the Rebbe. Hashem gives us a new light of the Rebbe on this day. Just like the Chassidim then, they saw the Rebbe after 38 days, and after the Rebbe's illness began, and today was a new revelation. So to today, there's a new revelation of the light of the Rebbe in the world. Something that never happened before. Not just is there as much light as there was then in the first Rosh Chodesh Kislev, but Mayim B'Chodesh every year on the day that a Yom Tov happens, it is a new light that new light is the source of all the light of the entire month. And again, Kislev is about revealing that which is deeper. So, as Mary was saying before about the Klippa thing, that the Klippa thing prevents us from getting in touch with our inner core. But Chodesh Kislev is a day when Hashem gives us the special, unique power that whatever is hidden inside of us, this gives us a power through this revelation of and this miracle that happened on this day, that whatever is case was late, whatever is hidden should be revealed. We're able to get in touch with who we are and what we are. There's some days that you stop and you look in the mirror and say, what am I doing? Where am I going? But Chodesh Kislev is a day where it's not in the negative, it's in the positive. Hashem puts us in touch directly with the soul of the Torah and the inner soul of the Jewish people, the Rebbe, and the inner soul of ourselves. So L'chaim, just get in touch with all the good stuff. Today's the day. L'chaim, L'chaim, Chaim Baruch Meir. Levi, Levi. Oh, yinanam, oh, yinanam, oh, yinanam, oh, yinanam, oh, yinanam, oh, yinanam.
This is a nigga from the Tzemach Tzedek.
What does it mean?
The original, the Doric, the Tzemach Tzedek is the Chassidim, the Tzemach Tzedek used to sing this nigga. It's a Tzemach Tzedek's nigga. And the reason I know that is because the Tzemach Tzedek had Chassidim that came from Lubavitch, they came to Israel, and that family, they used to sing every Shabbos, just like in Lubavitch, they used to sing this thing in every Shabbos by the.
You were by that family?
Yeah.
What's the name?
Ornstein.
Oh, yinanam, 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 oh,
So, as you can hear, I already lost my voice. So
I missed the good part, I guess.
You missed the good part, right? That's why you come to Farbrengen on time. If you wait, always do it at the end, so then people will come late and they'll think that they catch it at the end. You do it in the beginning, everybody will do it at the beginning.
Hashem made the world in a way that the best part of the soup is in the bottom. And you only when no one's looking, you try to get the best part of the soup. You lift the bowl up, get the best part of the soup. Also by Farbrengen. You can't get the best part of the Farbrengen in the beginning, it doesn't work. You have to get into it.
Right?
The best is yet to come.
You just, so it has to be better, then it has to get better.
That's good.
Anyway, so as you're able to hear the difference in tone, the difference in enthusiasm between.
One second. Rabbi, did you give Birchas Kainim in Simchas Torah? You gave Birchas Kainim?
If you're asking whether I will give Birchas Kohanim to everyone here, the answer is of course yes.
Thank you. First of all, Chaim.
Today's but the blessing of the Kohanim comes first.
We need a blessing to make this work. Baruch, go ahead.
It takes me a while to warm up.
Baruch, give us the bracha. We need your strength to make it happen. Because today's the day we were able to complete Simchas Torah. Today's the day that the Rebbe didn't from dance to Simchas Torah, and Rosh Chodesh Kislev they took the Torah out to celebrate what was missing. So you didn't do the Birchas Kainim Simchas Torah. You'll catch it now. Give it to us. Go ahead. First of L'chaim.
Okay, L'chaim.
What's in L'chaim for your dad? Moshe
Ben Fai.
Moshe Akain Ben, your mother's name?
And I also have a new grandson, baby boy.
Mazel
Tov.
Yesterday
You're going.
Boston.
Mazel Tov.
Massachusetts, as those people with class.
There's a lot going on. Anyway, normally, keep in mind anything that you want, particularly for yourself, All do Klal Yisrael, health, wealth, longevity, prosperity, success in Gashmias, Ruchnias, everything for everybody. Mashiach, I can't mention it all. It takes me a long time to get ready. Rabbi Levin is pushing me. Yivarecha Adonai Yishmerecha.
Amen.
Yaher Adonai Panav Elecha B'Fanecha.
Amen.
Yisa Adonai Panav Elecha Yisem Laha. Shalom.
Amen.
Psalm West in the Albany Israel and the Abaracham.
Amen.
And it doesn't come from me.
Okay, all
It
right.
goes first to Rabbi Levin, then the Abishur, and then.
You just opened my eyes with that bracha. I want to tell you why. We study here chassidus in the mornings, and there was a section that we were studying in the summertime about the man and about the birkas hamazon, making the blessing after meals, before meals, and we came after we studied the Maimar, we went deep in the discussion. So what came out of all the discussion was, how present am I going to be when I make a bracha? So it's not about, oh my gosh, I can't eat it until I make a bracha. But in order for me to be able to eat it, I need to be in the presence of mind to be able to understand what I'm about to encounter here. This is a beautiful experience, but I can't encounter that experience unless I say, Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam. So I was thinking, how many people say the bracha in that way? I don't know, but I know that I struggle with that. That's why when I studied the Maimar, so I started realizing, wait a second, what am I doing? I have to become more present when I make a bracha. So when I heard you going through, you do the introduction, and I was thinking to myself, if I was going to rely on the Kohen, that the Kohen needs to have intention in order for the bracha to be able to manifest itself, we would be in great tzaras. Because a lot of the brachas we're saying, in other words, if I judge, I'm not a Kohen. I'm not a Kohen, but I'm just saying from what my presence of mind when I make a bracha on water, how many times when I make the bracha am I present with what I'm doing? And if the only way we would get the brachas of the Kohanim was if they would have the presence of mind, then we would be in big trouble.
Could I interject for a second?
Sure.
You remind me of something else about brachas. Mendel Futterfas said in the time that Rabbi Marash, similar for Farbrengen now we Farbrengen for a half hour, for an hour, for 2 hours, for 3 hours, for 4 hours. Time that Rabbi Marash, similar for Farbrengen for days. You hear, what's your name again, Hanson? Jonathan. You're coming here, you're partaking, you still have your shirt on, things are normal. Used to be a Farbrengen was like a couple day experience. That's what it was meant to be. A few days you get together with brothers, you sing and you talk until you get to Hashem. So there was a wealthy man, and he would always host the Farbrengens. Unfortunately, he and his wife were not blessed with children. And he would come to his Rebbe, the Rebbe Marash, the Rebbe's great-grandfather, and ask him for a blessing for children, and he never gave him a blessing for children. So it was one Farbrengen, and he wasn't there. He was away in Lubavitch or in business, and the Chassidim needed more food. The party can't keep going without the food and at the liquor. So they went to his wife and said, "Is there anything else upstairs, guy over there in the kitchen?" So she says, "I could do that, but I need a blessing for children." So the Chassidim were different than the Chassidim today. They were very humble and refined, and they're like, blessings come from a tzaddik, come from a holy, righteous person. We're just people. We can't give a bracha to you. So you did say that you wanted some more food, right? So this is Mendel Futterfas had the story to Baruch Hefner from Baruch Hefner. So they're like, what did they do? So what they did was that they had to do it. They had to give her a bracha, and they had to like sort of pretend like they're tzaddikim. That's what nowadays. That's what they felt. The Gemara says differently. The Gemara says you should always give brachas to people. You shouldn't think the bracha of a simpleton is unimportant. They always give brachas. Brachas is a great thing. But that's how they felt. What they do. Mendel Futterfas said they stood up, they brushed off their kapotas, they their casket, they put their hats straight. They all blessed her that she should have a child. And Baruch Hashem, after a few months, she's Baruch Hashem. She's pregnant with a child. Guess what her husband felt? The husband felt very upset. Why was he so upset? Because he had gone to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe didn't give him a bracha. As usual, the Rebbe didn't give him a bracha for this. So here he's feeling like, what's going on? Like, how did this happen? So, and he went back there, Marash special, to ask him, what do I do? You didn't give a bracha, and this is happening. Where is this coming from? So Marash said to him like this: Hashem gives three kinds of brachas. There's brachas for health, there's bracha for a livelihood, and there's brachas for what else is there in this world? Children. Thank you. So if you would get a bracha for children, that would take away. You don't have enough chesed points. You don't have enough mileage for all three. So if you would get a bracha for for have to have children, that would take away from your life. It would take away from your money, your livelihood. So he's like, so does that mean I'm going to leave right now? Like, does that? Sarah said no. She said that's what I didn't do. But the Chassidim, they don't know about what's going on in heaven. They just give a bracha from their heart, and since they don't know, and they gave the bracha from their heart, it's above the regular calculation. It's above. It's not according to regular order. That's the bracha of Rabbi Baruch Neufeld, Baruch Hashem, bracha from his heart, not just a bracha of a kain, a bracha of a chassid. But let's say l'chaim take. And just these are parentheses. Here in the main.
So this is what I had, but I realized what you go through before you did the bracha, the responsibility you feel, the fact that you're actually involved, you're feeling the brachas, and you're giving them over in that way. So I'm sure that Hashem definitely through you gives us all the brachas. L'chaim.
All you have to do is read article brachas. And then I know how little I know, but it gets at point. Actually, I will tell
1995.
one quick story.
As
one of the founders of Brentwood and close to Rabbi Heck for 30, 40 years, there was just a small group of people, and they lived in a little apartment across from the giant inn that they had built across from the cemetery. There were three families. I can say their names: the Weizaks, the Aletheas, and Neufeld. And we were invited over for Shabbos dinner, and my ex-wife at the time was not too much into Yiddish type. Said, "Okay, I'll go. It seems like you guys really enjoy it, and so I'll go this time." All three couples, there were only 10 couples in Brentwood at that time, and none of us had children. And I don't think a lot of us were thinking about children. And this is 30 years ago. I mean, I've just seen a pair of tefillin. I didn't see tefillin until I was 30 years old. So we had this dinner with Baruch, and Baruch said, "You know what? We've had so much fun tonight. I'm going to give you all a bracha that within 12 months you should all have a child." Wow! And within 12 months we all had a child. Wow! So watch out for Heck.
It was the Farbrengen. It was the Farbrengen that brought it back.
They say Jewish curses always work. You know why? Can you curse somebody, you mean it. What's wrong with giving a bracha and meaning it? L'chaim levracha, l'chaim levracha, l'chaim levracha. Oh. We don't say something. Yeah, give us a nigga, that's a nigga.
That's so nice to see you. Good to see you. This is a year with Bais Bezalel. He gave up his chassidus because he didn't want to get anybody sick. I'm sure.
Look at it.
No, in the column.
What?
Yeah, l'chaim.
Attention, Kmart shoppers. Please bring your purchases to the cash registers. The store is about to start. Go ahead. Head over. David, head over.
It's a little.
Wait. 1 second. Ready?
Almost finished. No, it's sometimes.
It's a long story.
Okay.
Good, you got it? I didn't want it.
Parts of it every day.
That looked too good. I wouldn't want one summit to disturb me. I didn't want it to disturb you. So I want to share I want to expand upon the theme that we talked about before. We sang the niggin. Everyone felt it. Everyone, I'm sure you were present, and we were singing the song to the feeling behind that niggin, which is of elation, of joy. So I want to tell you how the Rebbe himself reacted to the episodes that happened on Rosh Chodesh, from Shmini Atzeres, the whole after he was out of danger. 3 weeks later, 3 weeks after the Rebbe had a terrible, I think it was several heart attacks. The one later was even worse. But after the 3 weeks afterwards, the doctors, it seemed that it subsided, the danger. So the Rebbe asked them, is it over? Can I celebrate? Can I, feel it? So the doctor said, how do you want to celebrate? He pointed to the monitor and he showed, you see that the numbers are good, whatever the measurements were, it's good. That's a celebration. So the Rebbe said, no. The Rebbe said, I want to dance in my room. I want to dance in my room. So the doctor said, that time has not come yet. To be able to dance in your room, that time has not come. The following. He said, the Rebbe said that I don't mean that I want to literally dance in my room because it's in the middle of the week. They're going to think you're crazy. You're dancing in the middle of the week in your room. There's places for such people, right? So I didn't mean literally I'm going to dance in the room. But the Rebbe said, but the fact that I know I could dance, that's already as if I danced. And he gave an example of when you order a ticket on the airlines. You have a place, you paid for a ticket, you didn't actually fly, but you already know you have a. And the Rebbe didn't just stay with a mashal, gashmi, with a physical analogy that people can relate to. He went to the Torah, as the Rebbe always does. He connected everything to learning, to Torah. And he says, the Rambam says that when someone has a machshava to do tshuva, he has a thought. He has a thought to do tshuva. So that's it. It's as if he's already at Sabbath. So even the machshava itself puts you in that place. The Rebbe says, I'm asking if I can dance. Who dances in the middle of the week? But the fact that I could dance. So now that we're celebrating Chodesh Kislev, again, we see this idea. What we need to feel, and if we don't, that's the Farbrengen maybe needs to scrub away. What we need to feel is that joy that we want to dance, that even if we don't actually stand up in the middle of the street of Pico and dance, they'll think we're crazy. But the fact that we want to dance in the middle of Pico, because we are so joyous that we have the Rebbe, that gave us what he gave us, that we have the Rebbe. That's the way we celebrate, that's the way we express the joy. And if we don't feel like we want to dance, then we need to bring a little bit and see why not, why we don't appreciate it, this big miracle that Hashem did for us. L'chaim, l'chaim.
Zelle Chaim for Rabbi Reichik, and of course, Shimon ben Leah. And also Chaim for Rachmil Fernandez, Rachmil Yisrael ben Sarna, full Kreyo Shema. Chaim Yitzipera, Esha, Chaim Yitzipera Bas, sorry, Chaim.
So I want to share a fascinating story regarding the Rebbe and Rosh Chodesh Kislev. And the reason why it was fascinating is because it was almost like deja vu in a lot of things that are happening today in the COVID era. I know, but when it came and we know what happened initially and the phases, etc., etc. So they compared it. The last time that this happened was when the Spanish flu. So I just recently read a story about, and the Rebbe was a boy of 16 at the time of the Spanish flu. I just read a story of how the Rebbe dealt with it then. No, I'm only comparing the fact that it was a pandemic, not anything else. The Rebbe tells the doctor as follows. This is the reason why it's connected with Rosh Chodesh Kislev. Is this was recorded. This is what part of the discussion the Rebbe had with one of the doctors, and this stuff was recorded by Rabbi Groner in a diary. So the Rebbe told the doctor. He says that when he was 16. So there was the Spanish flu, and he knew where he needs to be. We know the word now. Before it was foreign, we need to quarantine. We have to quarantine ourselves and stay away from the germ. So the Rebbe said that he stayed in his house, and he learned with his father. So they were staying in the house away from. But then there was an ace, Sarah. There was Yidden at Nebach. They needed food or whatever it was. They needed help, and they had, these were people that were coming. They were refugees, and he was faced with a challenge. What do you do? This is real for us. Before, if you would have told me the story before, it would be abstract. Now it's very real. I know what we felt when everything was going rampant and people were dying. We didn't know what was going on. It was really scary. So the Rebbe said that he went out and he helped him. And then the Chachamim would say, yeah, shluach mitzvah nizakin. So you're doing something good for someone, nothing's going to happen. The Rebbe told the doctor exactly what happened. He didn't know fantasies. I got sick, and the Rebbe was with high fever for days, whatever it was, as a result of helping people in that time, the time of the Spanish flu. And the Rebbe told the doctor, he says, there's a fine line between helping someone and saving yourself. There's a fine line between helping someone and saving yourself. It's very hard to make, sometimes you're too much about saving yourself, and maybe sometimes you're too much about saving the other person. There's that fine line. It's a balance. It's a balancing act. We know the Gemara says that if you're in the desert, you only have one jug of water. So it says that if your life comes first, that you drink the water. But that's when it's a clear life and death situation. But if it's not clear life and death, it's how much do you help, how much do you protect yourself? And he turned to Dr. Weiss and he said, Dr. Weiss, if you were in a place where you were the only person and you had to give mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and the person that you had to give mouth-to-mouth to was a person that had a virus, would you walk away or not? That's it. So he said, Dr. Weissel, how can I walk away? But I would take every measure necessary to protect myself, which is the point. You have to, it's a balancing act. So you see the Rebbe Yud Shvat, when the Rebbe took on leadership, Yud Shvat, Tafshin Yud Aleph, in the Maimer, which is a lot of things, a lot of messages you see in the Maimer, in the way the Rebbe said the Maimer, how he said the Maimer, what he quoted, etc., etc. It's a subject for itself. It's fascinating, and it's a never-ending. It's deep. It gets deeper and deeper. But one thing is undeniable. You see clearly in the Maimer, which you don't usually see in other Maimarim. The Rebbe tells stories. In the Maimer, in the middle of the Maimer is a discourse which is deep ideas of chassidus, of understanding of Hashem. And in the Maimer, the Rebbe tells stories. And he doesn't just tell a story, he tells stories plural. And he makes sure to go down each and every Rebbe and share something about them that it was unique. Something that we see how much Avas Yisrael they had, how much love they had to the Jewish people. He's basically what the Rebbe is saying. You don't have to read too much into it. The Rebbe is saying that a Rebbe and Avas Yisrael is synonymous. You can't be a Rebbe without Avas Yisrael. And true Avos Yisrael is what a Rebbe has to each and every individual. And here the Rebbe told stories of the Alter Rebbe and the Mittel Rebbe and the Tzemach Tzedek and the Rebbe Marash, the Rebbe Rashab, the previous Rebbe. Here we see clearly indicated, even before he became Rebbe, how the Rebbe, the Avos Yisrael the Rebbe had, even in to his own detriment, where afterwards he was sitting for days, and he had a terrible fever. But nevertheless, the Rebbe at Avos Yisrael, that was who our Rebbe was. The Avos Yisrael in the purest form, in the form that only a tzaddik can have. And we look at that and we say, Rosh Chodesh Kislev, the Rebbe we have. This is the fiber, the glue that glues all of us together is the Avos Yisrael that we have, which is really what a Farbrengen is all about. The Farbrengen, we come together, it's all about Avos Yisrael. In Hayom Yom is such a deep sefer. It's the more you think, it's just little stories or little bertelach on a day. The more you think about it, the more you focus on it, it's deeper and deeper, and it's amazing what the Rebbe did with Hayom Yom, and taking from the previous Rebbe and taking the nuggets and putting them in an organized fashion. It really gives us unbelievable insight in many, many things. So there in Hayom Yom, Isru Chag, Sukkos, there we know a Farbrengen, but there the Rebbe kind of gives you the agenda. What do you do by a Farbrengen? We know what we do when we go to shul and put on tefillin, but what do we do when we come to a Farbrengen? What exactly is a Farbrengen? And the Rebbe spells it out. He gives you kind of the agenda of what should be talked about by a Farbrengen, how it should be talked about, and what manner, etc., etc. There the Rebbe says that a Farbrengen is from the Yesoides of Chassidim and Chassidus. What is the Farbrengen is the entranceway, the mavli to Avos Yisrael. You want to experience real Avos Yisrael. You can only have true Avos Yisrael as Avos Yisrael is experienced through a Farbrengen. Otherwise, it's a busy Avos Yisrael. When you come to Farbrengen, you come together with another Yid and you say l'chaim and you say what's bothering you, what's bothering me, and I wish you well, and he wishes you well, and you strengthen each other. That brings out, that's the Avos Yisrael. And Hashem sees that, as it's the famous story when the Frierdiker Rebbe asked the Rebbe Rashab, he asked him, why does it say before davening, Areini Mekavel Alai? Why do we begin davening with accepting the mitzvah of Avos Yisrael? And the Rebbe Rashab told him that's when just like children with a father, when the kids are getting along, the father overlooks the other things. So too, before we daven, Hareini Mekavel Alai, we tell Hashem, love our fellow Yid. we love our fellow Yid. And as soon as that happens, as soon as Hashem sees that, then, oh yeah, I know, I didn't do this, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, fine. It's all good and fine. But Hashem sees that we have that feeling of togetherness. That's what happens by Farbrengen. That's that energy that we get to be able to have that. It doesn't happen from staying in your house. It doesn't happen by learning a daf Gemara. It doesn't even happen when you learn a Maimer chassidus. When does it really happen? It happens when you Farbrengen together. So when you think, oh, how special, how lucky we are, that we're sitting together and we're going in, we're able to have on Rosh Chodesh together, the excitement, we have a Rebbe, L'chaim, L'chaim.
Vitaly, 5 minutes. I'll tell you, even 5 minutes, it should go. 5 minutes. I'll show him 5 minutes. Listen, Vitaly.
In these 5 minutes is going to save your life. He's going to save your life, and if he has something to say for 5 minutes, he's going to save your life.
You ready?
You're going to tell your grandchildren how you were by a Farbrengen or Chodesh Kislev, and you wanted to go, and Rabbi Levin held you back. And in those 5,
ready?
Now here is he's going to share with you.
Are you ready, Vitaly? You ready? Let's go. There's a nuance that the Torah gives to Yitzchak planting seeds. This week's Torah portion is Yitzchak planted seeds in that country up here. He planted seeds in that country. He planted seeds in that country, and he discovered that that year, in that country, 100 times more than expected when he planted the seeds. So the words that the Gemara asks are, what's that year in that country? What's the emphasis of that year, that country? The Gemara says it was a hard year. The Gemara says it was a hard country. So any intelligent person will tell Yitzchak has the seeds, dude, eat the seeds. Eat the seeds. What are you doing with the seeds? Eat the seeds. But the emes the truth is that Yitzchak knew Hashem gave him seeds. Hashem gave him a plot of land. Hashem gave him the intelligence to know how to plant seeds. He had to plant the seeds. And what happened when he planted the seeds? It was 100 times more. So in a similar way, the Rebbe says businessmen may feel that they look at the financial climate, they feel like, it's not worth investing now. But the truth is that if you don't try, not trying is already losing an opportunity. Hashem gives you the other day, you have to plant the seed. And it's in every arena in life. It says about Yitzchak also, he dug a well, and Avimelech came and he covered the well. Dug another well, Amalek came and covered the well. Dug a third well, and that well lasted. Similar way the Rebbe says, and you might feel like I tried to inspire somebody. I tried to dig beneath the surface and to help that person discovers neshama. You know what happened afterwards? All that inspiration went to the other direction. And then I did it again. The guy says, yeah, thank you for the inspiration. And then he went the wrong way with it. But Torah says it did it again and again and again. And what happens? Happens is that there's a certain kind of bracha. When you go and you listen to what Hashem tells you to do. Hashem tells you to plant the seed. Planting the seed doesn't just mean that you go in business. You do what you're supposed to do in business. It doesn't either mean just in spiritually that you go and try to inspire someone. Planting a seed means you let go. Let go. You know, when Yitzchak planted the seeds, the Torah says that Philistines, they plishtim, they sismum. What sismum means? Sismum is Ashkenazi for sitbum. They covered all of the water. The root of the word sismum is stam. Are you special or are you stam? What do you think? אתה special או אתה סתם? אני, מה?
מיוחד, אני אומר. לא, מיוחד.
אני אגיד לך, ויטלי, ברגע, if you say to yourself that I'm just stam, I'm just another simple Jew, then the second you say that, you prevent Avon of Yitzchak to reveal on you, to dig in you to find the good things you have in you. There's a tzaddik. The tzaddik sends his messengers to try to reveal in every Jew their goodness, as he was saying, their Avos Yisrael, their love for Hashem, love for Torah, love for Jewish people. But the second you say about yourself, I'm plain, I'm nothing, I'm just a regular Jew, doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter if you learn, doesn't matter if you daven, doesn't matter if you get stuck, doesn't matter if you go to work, doesn't matter if you don't go to work, doesn't matter if you take out the garbage, because you're just plain. So in order for you to be able to get in touch with the reservoirs of living water in yourself, the first thing you have to say to yourself is, I'm not stam, not plain. Otherwise, it's impossible. So maybe it's a hard year, and maybe it's a hard country, but in order for you to discover, to get into the game, you realize you're not there by yourself. You didn't get there by yourself. You're not stam, you're special, you're chosen by Hashem, you're reason to be here. And the second that you say, Hineni, I was chosen by Hashem to be here right now. What I need to do, all of a sudden things open. Then you have connection. The Rosh Chodesh Kislev is the day that Hashem gives a special light of the Rebbe, a special connection to the Rebbe, a special bracha from the Rebbe, special. Who is it for? You know what it's for? I think it's for Meir Newman because he's a special guy. Not for me, right? I was telling my friend over here this morning that it's crazy. This guy writes to Rebbe, here David. This guy writes to Rebbe a report about what happened in Kfar Chabad. He writes to Rebbe this report. Kfar Chabad is doing amazing. They have a school for boys and for girls and for older boys and older girls, and they have a school for vocational school, and everyone's learning and everyone's davening. It's just amazing. And then he writes, he's from the Bronx, Rabbi all time from the Bronx. He says, but me in the Bronx, the finances are terrible, and I can't handle it. And just give me a word of encouragement, right? So he writes on his letter two things. And the part of the letter he writes about what's happening in Kfar Chabad, thank you for the good news, a lot of pleasure. The part he writes about the terrible stuff happening where he is, he writes, read the part you wrote before about Kfar Chabad, and remember that both you and those in Kfar Chabad are both messengers of the previous Rebbe. And there's no difference. No difference. Here's David. No difference. You think you're not a shliach, right? I'm not a shliach. I'm not special. There are other people that they had to get invited to the kinos. and they got on to realize who we're working for, to realize who we are. We're the Rebbe's chassidim, a special connection, special bracha. We're not stam. Vitali, אתה מבין או לא מבין? אתה סתם?
זה 5 דקות.
Simple Jew.
So Jew is not stam. The Jew is not stam. You're a special Jew. Chaim Ero.
Simply a special Jew. Chaim.
Hey, what is that? The water is dangerous, you know that. It's a very, very big chassid. And he used to always drink 96% mash alcohol. Always. And then later on in his life, he had a big problem. He had a water in his lung. I knew that 4% water was going to kill me. Yankee, give me a l'chaim. Give me a l'chaim. Yankee, reach him. Yankee.
He also, the same chassid that he's talking, the same chassid that he's talking about used to make sure that before Rosh Hashanah, he said a couple of times to Hashem, or before Yom Kippur, or whatever it was. And he used to say that when you're inebriated, so you can't judge someone when he's inebriated. So if I drink before Hashanah and Kippur, whatever it was, I can't be judged. So that was his way of getting through the Hashanah and Kippur. Anyway, we need to become present with the Yom Tif at hand. The Rebbe Rosh Chodesh Kislev was concerned about Yutis Kislev. And the Rebbe asked the doctors, he asked them a question. He said, is it physical stress that's not good for the heart, or emotional stress that's not good for the heart? Physical stress or emotional stress? And the Rebbe explained, I'm not just asking because you had other discussions there which seemed to be like theoretical discussions. The Rebbe says the reason for asking is because I'm making a calculation. he would communicate in his room. They would set up a mic. They set up a microphone. And Motzei Shabbos, and he would Farbrengen with the chassidim. We have a lot of this stuff. The sichas, the things that the Rebbe said, and my mom, the Rebbe said, is printed
in his room, not with us.
From his room. He said he spoke to the chassidim who were in a hookup, who were downstairs in 770. Would hear like a broadcast. And so the Rebbe said for Yutis Kislev, so the question was, if he Farbrengs from his room, so then he minimizes the stress of going downstairs, but at the same time, he doesn't have the rest that you would have in between the sichas. When he speaks and then he stops, and then he speaks and then he stops. Because then it would be one long sicha, one long talk. So he was asking the doctor if it's the emotional stress or the physical stress. If it's a physical stress, then going down would be harder, but at the same time, you would have time to rest. You'd be able to rest in between. Chaim. We need to remember, we need to become present with that we have a Rebbe. And where would we be, like it says, without Matan Torah, Kama Yesevika B'Shuka, how many, with that, one of the Tanoim said, how many would be in the marketplace if it would be without Matan Torah? Where would we be if we didn't have a Rebbe? Where would the world be without a Rebbe today? We see how much what the Rebbe has done prevented all whatever was happening, people going to all four corners. When Jews were able to go to all four corners of the earth, no matter where you go, there's a place you connect to Yiddishkeit, you can connect to Hashem in every place. Where would we be? Comes Chodesh Kislev, and we appreciate that even more. And every year that goes by, we appreciated it last year, and we expressed the joy last year, and that was enough. No, now another year passed, we recognize how much more we have, and how much more we have. When you have something that's good, so every the time that passes, it's the more you recognize how good it is and how special it is. So here, every year that passes, we realize how special, how much we have as a result of that. So it adds in the joy. So comes another Chodesh Kislev. So we even feel more inspired and more the joy that we have a Rebbe, and that's continuously. And so that's what we have to become present with that. Today, Rosh Chodesh, we have to become present with that. That's the avodah of the day. Yom Kippur had an avodah. Sukkot had an avodah. Rosh Chodesh Kislev has an avodah. What's the avodah of Rosh Chodesh Kislev? The avodah of Rosh Chodesh Kislev is to become present. We have a Rebbe. We have a Rebbe, like we said before. Not the Rebbe will be. It's very interesting. The Rebbe said something that is really, it's true today as it was then. Which sometimes it might be hard to, when it comes to daily events, you might not see it. The Rebbe said, and he was speaking from his room, that even though we're distant in a physical sense, we're distant in a physical. What are we going to say today? Even then, when the Rebbe was in his room, the chassidim were downstairs. They were 100 meters from each other, 200 meters from each other. It was just the walls there, but they were there. The Rebbe was there. The chassidim were there. If you scream loud enough, maybe you're able to hear. In fact, there's many stories that they tried to quiet the dancing and the learning from 770, so it wouldn't disturb the Rebbe. And the Rebbe said this, the opposite is true. That when I hear the learning, when I hear the davening, it gives me energy, it gives me chayas. And it wasn't like, the Rebbe was just saying because that's what you're supposed to say. No, it was real. A tzaddik, his life is a spiritual life. When he gets that, when he hears the learning, it gives him life. The Rebbe said to Rabbi Groner, it was interesting. The Friedrich Rebbe, I don't remember when it was, Tafshin Hey, Tafshin Vav, 1945, 1946, one of those. After the Friedrich Rebbe came to America, and the Rebbe, and they would bring the letters into the Friedrich Rebbe to read. The Rebbe was either was only responsible or partially responsible, whatever it is. The Friedrich Rebbe's health was deteriorating physically, and the Rebbe made sure that not all the letters got to the Friedrich Rebbe. There were letters that the Rebbe did not want the Friedrich Rebbe to hear about. So, however, the Friedrich Rebbe knew about it spiritually, but not in a physical sense. Not that he should hear the description. Where did that start? Or where did that come from? Is Rabbi Masmid, who was a big chassid of the Rebbe Rashab and the previous Rebbe. And I was in Rostov, and I remember the scribe, Chassidim would come there, describe Rabbi Masmid, he would go into Yechidus, and the room that he would go into Yechidus, and what would happen during Yechidus. It would describe what they heard. I mean, we could talk about it, but the point here is, it was a big chassid, and he got a letter. The Friedrich Rebbe got a letter that what happened. He was killed. He was killed by the Nazis, Yamach Shemon, and it caught. The Friedrich Rebbe was affected in his gesund. His health was physically affected. So the Rebbe saw it necessary to minimize it. The Friedrich Rebbe's health was already deteriorating, to minimize the letters that would come to the Friedrich Rebbe. So the Rebbe, when the Rebbe became sick in Tafshin Lamed Ches, so the Rebbe had a heart attack, and Label Groner was the secretary. So the Rebbe was choshed. The Rebbe said, "You're hiding letters from me. You're not bringing me all the letters."
Who's married to the Master Zainical?
Who's married to the Master? Because of that, he saw the full circle, and he says, "You're holding back letters from me." And Rabbi Chodekov had to say no, and Rabbi Chodekov was as straight as an arrow, and he said, "No, it's not true. He's not. There's all the letters you're getting." But that was the reason why the Rebbe was. And the Rebbe said that he gets the letter, that he can help another Yid, that gives him life, that gives him chayas. That's Ahavas Yisrael. That's Ahavas Yisrael. When you think about, we talked about Ahavas Yisrael before, it's not only that I want the best for you, but it's that when you get whatever it is that you need, it gives me life. It gives me, it picks me up. When I know you're in good hands, when I know that things are good for you, and I feel I'm alive. That's Ahavas Yisrael. Not just that I want the best for you, like good wishes. I wish the best for you with meaningless words sometimes, but know that I actually the experience that it gives me it brings me joy. The Rebbe says the letters that I'm getting, that's giving me joy, that's giving me life, that's giving me chayas. The Rebbe once said, he said that it was late for mincha. The Rebbe said, "A Yid needs my help. Mincha can wait. A Yid needs my help. Mincha can wait." That's Ahavas Yisrael to the highest form. When the Rebbe said when they were talking about the previous Rebbe, so one of the now it's not common anymore, but not too long ago, you meet someone, especially in business, you give the business card. Right now, everything's digital. It's like who has any patience for more paper? But they give a business card. What would the Rebbe say about the previous Rebbe when you go around? People want, who is the previous Rebbe? What is he? What do you talk about exactly? You tell him that. What's the top 10? What do you say? The miracles that he did, how he helped this one, and how he helped that one, and helped it. No. The business card. The identity of a Rebbe is Ahavas Yisrael, the love that he has for every single Yid. So the Rebbe talked about that, about the previous Rebbe, And we don't need to go too far. We see it in the Rebbe's life, in every single day, how the Rebbe would do everything. Whether it's dollars or lekach or giving out kuntresim or sitting in Farbrengen for hours and hours. I mean, let's face it. The Rebbe knew who we were. The Rebbe knew who he was talking to. He knew how much was, it's like the mashal, the famous mashal of the crown of the king, that stone that they had to grind. We'll soon talk about it more. Kislev is coming. We'll get to the depth of what chassidus is and what chassidus means and how much we need to say that we have chassidus. But that stone in the king's crown that had to be ground, it had to be taken out of the crown of the king. You're almost decrowning him in a sense. You're taking from the highest place and you're giving to the child, you're giving the drop that maybe he's going to be healed by that drop. Maybe he'll be healed by that drop. So you spill everything. You take the whole stone, you grind the whole thing up just so one drop will have an effect. As we see that, the Rebbe knew he was talking to, and he gave hours and hours and hours. That one drop, one sikha, one mimer, one letter, one idea, that whether we'll hear it, we'll be inspired, it will lift us up, it will inspire us to daven better, it will inspire us to learn chassidus, it will inspire us to give tzedakah, it will inspire us to have avas Yisrael, to love another yid. That's what will inspire us. And the Rebbe just kept on giving. Hours and hours and hours. And so we come Rosh Chodesh Kislev and we say, wow, we have a Rebbe. L'chaim.
It's 5 minutes. Mine's let you go. 5 minutes. Ki anu Is little Chaim. Is a pair little Chaim. Chaim, David Salam, little Chaim. Chaim Rosh. Is little Chaim. You're here for 5 minutes. Little Chaim. Not an empty cup. You have to drive after all. Little Chaim. 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 Who is going to claim Rabbi Right? Shekshim Ali ben Leil. Chaim. I just want to point something else. There's a lot of PBGB stuff that we're discussing. And I know it sounds like people made up, what I mean is like this. PBGB. That means like, you're saying there's a backstory. And a lot of people, which as you said, if Farbrengen is about the peeling off a layer, people don't necessarily appreciate that there's a backstory to the story of Rosh Chodesh Kislev. The Rebbe came gesund, and it's about something. It's about something that the world needs. It's about something where the world is going to. People think, there's a Rebbe and there's Chabad and there's a group. I just want to share that the Rebbe himself classified what Rosh Chodesh Kislev is, and in a way that leaves no room for interpretation that it's something less than anything we could possibly imagine. There was a chassid, his name was Rabbi Moshe grandfather. He was one of the few people that was invited to a Farbrengen that Rebbe made in 1978 on Zeis Chanukah. And he felt, this was a Farbrengen that was shortly after the Rebbe's recovery on Rosh Chodesh Kislev, Chanukah that year, the end of Chanukah. And he felt that this Farbrengen was only a few people were told about it. Everyone else found out when it happened. And he felt that the Rebbe let him know about it. It was a special gift that he was allowed to know about it. Only a few people allowed to know about it. So he wrote to the Rebbe.
Through JJ.
JJ was invited. JJ asked the Rebbe if he could tell Avram Hechels. So Avram Hechel wrote to the Rebbe and asked the Rebbe, I just want to thank the Rebbe for inviting me for the Suda Seidah of Rosh Chodesh Kislev. He felt that the reason Rebbe Farbrengen on Chanukah was as a meal of thanks to Hashem for Rosh Chodesh Kislev. So Rebbe said that you should look in the introduction to the Zelle. What is the introduction to the Zelle? Zelle says over there, it's like this. Every time where exactly to look. What does it say over there? The Gemara says that Reb Chia was a very great tzaddik. To the extent the Gemara says that how great is Reb Chia, if it wasn't for him, the Torah would have been forgotten. What did Reb Chia do? Reb Chia lived at a time when the Torah was going to be forgotten. So what did he do? He planted seeds. And with the seeds, he grew flax. And with the flax, he made nets. With the nets, he caught deer. And upon the deer skins, he wrote the 5 books of the Torah. And he went to a town. And he went over to 5 children. And to one child, he taught him the book of Bereshis. Another child taught him the book of Shemais. And he taught the 5 books of the Torah to 5 children. And he told each child the book of Torah that they learned. And the Gemara says that it's only because of him that the Torah wasn't forgotten. He did the same thing also with the oral Torah, the Shnayos, etc. So Gemara says, that's the Gemara says. So, what does it say? If it wouldn't have been for Reb Chia, the Torah would have been forgotten. So the next part of the story, I'm not going to say exactly correct because it's either way it's from the Zayir. So how it said exactly correct, it would still be wrong because the Zayir is different madrega. But the Zayir says that Reb Chia, when he was alive, he once had at least a shaman. The shaman went up to Gan Eden, and he went, and that day the Gemara says there was a storm. There was a storm that the ocean was shaking and the world was shaking. And the Gemara and the Zayir says that on that day that the Reb Chia went up to Shemayim, he went into the chamber of Mashiach. And he went to the chamber of Mashiach, and there he met Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai was that day also in the chamber of Mashiach. And Mashiach asked Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, like, who is this guy? What's Reb Chia doing here? And Reb Shimon Bar Yochai said, this is the guy who was doing all this great stuff. So it says in the Zayir about his shoes or something, and he's missing his shoes. Something was missing here. In other words, he didn't finish his job in this world. Therefore, it was decided in Shemayim that Reb Chia shouldn't stay in the chamber of Mashiach in Shemayim. He has to come back here to do something here. So that's what Rebbe said to Rabbi Hech to understand an acknowledgement of what he's saying that Rosh Chodesh Kislev is. Thank you for letting me come to this Farbrengen.
Job not done.
Huh?
Job not done.
That this is what is this about? What this is about is that the Rebbe's job isn't done. He has to come back to the world. He wasn't allowed to go to Gan Eden at that time. On the contrary, that the job isn't done. And the emes is that the job is still not done. And we're the Rebbe's hands and feet. The Rebbe's hands and feet. And we're coming from the chamber of Mashiach. We got no responsibility. We have to do what to plant the seeds, catch the deer. Okay, we don't have to actually catch deer. You don't have to plant, but the point is, planting seeds means that you know who you're working for. You know you're not going by yourself. You know you're not alone. I was sharing with the Yankee this morning, unbelievable thing about the Kislev Shluchim. It's beyond the 5 minutes. If you have to go 5 minutes, you don't hear this part. But this is the juicy part. There is a couple, like many couples, including myself, that the husband and wife have a disagreement, or not a disagreement, but they have a way of where they would want to go to as a shluch, as a mission for the Rebbe, and where they wouldn't want to go. So there was a couple that they wrote to the Rebbe, they would want to go. They discussed among themselves. They don't want to go to Russia, but they met Rabbi Lazar from the chief Rabbi of Russia, and he says, "A great place for you, Siberia." It's the third biggest city in Russia is in Siberia, Novosibirsk. Check it out; it's fantastic. So they decided they'll check it out. They said to check it out. They'll check it out. Just to check it out. And then they get there and they go to the shul, and the shul is full of homeless people, and it's ugly and it's dirty. And they're there for a couple of days. The last day that they're there, there's a pogrom, and the shul is destroyed. Not destroyed completely, but there's Sefer Torah on the floor, and there's everything is ripped up, and he calls up Rabbi Lazar. What do I do? He says, you have to report it. You have to the news, because the news doesn't. If the people don't hear about it, the government won't do anything. He reports it to the news, and news comes, and all the media is there. And, wow, this is terrible. And who are you? And he sees a video of him there. Who are you? And you see in this video that he's not talking by himself. He's being told something from heaven. You see in the video. You see it. Watch the video. He thinks for a second. I'm the rabbi here. And every single, and it went viral. The rabbi comes to this town, and within a week there's this pogrom. And what does he feel about it? We're going to stay. He tells the news we're going to stay, and we're going to spread Torah. And every news station calls him and his wife, and for weeks he's in every single news thing that there is. And he comes back to Israel, and all of his friends, wow, you guys are going to Novosibirsk. That's amazing. It's great. You're enjoying it. And he's sitting with his wife, and he says to his wife after a couple of weeks, everyone in the world knows that we're the shluchim to Novosibirsk, except for us. We're the only ones who don't know this. We really need to check this. And you see incredible success that he had from that mission there. He built an empire of institutions of Torah that make all the shuls in Pico like nothing. Huge edifice of. But where did it come from? Came from him realizing to himself, is listening to the voice of Hashem, and he has to be there. He has to be there. You have to realize we're here right now in the last moments of Golus. We're here for a reason. You got to show up. You got to do something. One rabbi, last thing, let you go. With those who want to go. One rabbi, he says that it's so hard for some rabbis, some shluchim of the Rebbe, because they can't teach their Torah. The children Torah, where they are, they send them away to school. So one rabbi says, you hear the other. One rabbi says he took his son to the airport, and he was crying and he was screaming, and he didn't want to let it go until he looked him in the eyes and says, "Dad, you're embarrassing me. Please." We could be little kids, and we could think we're just playing a little game, and it's just sad. It's not a game. This is for keeps. This is a keeper. Mashiach is going to come, and it's going to happen. And we're about. This is about Bais Mashiach. Chodesh Kislev is about Bais Mashiach. That's what the Rebbe told the Rabbi Moshe. It's about Bais Mashiach. Chaim v'rofim. Nafshi choma lechom v'zori. That's really good. Yeah.
This song of Tzamar Nafshi is not only, I mean, besides the fact that the Rebbe was one of the songs the Rebbe taught us in whatever year it was, in the Simchas Torah, the Rebbe used to teach. The Rebbe used to teach the different songs, Kiani Amecha, Shamil, and this was one of the songs the Rebbe taught. It's a song from the Alter Rebbe, but it has another deeper connection with Chodesh Kislev. The Rebbe before what happened on Shmini Atzeres, so the Rebbe sang the song. The Rebbe used to lead the nigun, and the Rebbe would. I mean, there's videos of it. And the Rebbe said over there, Uzi Uchedi. The Rebbe was clear before the story of Shmini Atzeres, when the Simchas Torah, when the Rebbe had the halacha, the Rebbe was asking the Eibishter, Uzi Uchedi, that the Eibishter should have a Rachmanis, that we should be able to celebrate Rosh Chodesh. So you could see it, what? Uzi, my strength. Yeah, he changed the word of the song. So if he says my strength, my usually we talk about the Hashem's strength, right? But he's asking Hashem to preserve his strength.
Nafshi Chayda.
Huh?
There was also Nafshi Chayda.
Nafshi.
Uzi Nafshi Chayda.
But this was, you see clearly, we see many times, tzaddikim see things, they see much further. The earth that Hashem created the world with, so it was hidden for tzaddikim. They were able to see from one side of the world to the other. You see it in many different ways. You see it in time, you see it in space, you see by the Baal Shem Tov, you see the Tzemach Tzedek was able to tell people where their husbands were. Agunis, they were able to send them, he was able to see. They didn't have the interruption of space. So we're able to see from one side of the world to the other. The Rebbe, by Tzaddikim, we find they were able to see the Frierdiker Rebbe before they were constantly going from Yud Beis Tammuz to Kislev. The Frierdiker Rebbe before Yud Beis Tammuz. So when he was saying the psukim for the shofar, you know, he said, so he said, Al Yashkuni Zaydim. But the Zaydim, the people, the Rishoyim, they shouldn't overcome me. They shouldn't overpower me. Al Yashkuni. So he said, Oi, Al Yashkuni Zaydim. You saw, Tzaddik saw already what was happening. That was in Sivan. That's towards the end of the year. He saw. They asked Hashem in those moments. The Rebbe asked with this song, Samlach Hanafshi, that we should have a Rosh Chodesh Kislev. L'chaim.
That was that year? When was it?
Before. It was, I guess it's not too. Yes, it could be. Someone good?
I didn't know it was that year. No.
Yeah, I never knew it was that year.
I just saw that. Yeah.
That was that year.
This is the nice.
I was in New York, I was going to get it. So my suitcase.
You didn't have space.
Space.
You see the Rebbe, you know, people, even we grew up with the Rebbe. I mean, we experienced Farbrengen, but we only saw one side of the Rebbe. And here it's opened up like a window to a whole different side of the Rebbe. I always
different kind of chassid also. Before Kislev, there weren't people who work up at this every day. There was such a thing. It didn't exist. After Kislev, there's a new kind of chassid.
New kind of chassid. So the Rebbe there, he records
people
different.
do that. Some people do. Before Kislev, no one did. Well, my grandfather also. My grandfather was.
When did he stop?
I never they were a Chabad on Shabbos either. My grandfather, the Sheikh of the previous Rebbe in the Worcester, he never Chabad. After Kislev, that's when he found it. Because I don't know about Mashlim Yeshiva, but I'm saying that there was a different kind of connection that was created with Kislev. I think you mentioned before that
Nothing was taken for granted.
when the doctor gave the Rebbe an injection, they ever asked the doctor what causes the what draws the blood? Is it the vacuum or is it the needle? And the doctor said it's the vacuum that causes the
allows the blood to be drawn.
So the Rebbe told the doctor that the same is also this fact that the Rebbe is not physically there with the chassidim. That's meant to draw out new chayas, new energy with the chassidim. I never asked Rabbi Groner to tell us Rabbi Yokan. He explained this to the chassidim. That's what this is about, and that's what today's about also. And my parentheses. Sorry, Ramir. Go ahead.
There was I lost my train of thought.
Don't worry. Where you go, you know the roads.
No, there was a story or something. Anybody? All right, it wasn't that.
It's buffering me, so one side of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
so there's kisses on different sides.
So the Rebbe, no, so here you see the Rebbe described the way the Rebbe used to speak. The Rebbe had a very interesting, vibrant sense of humor, and people that had to do more with the Rebbe were privy to that side of the Rebbe. The Rebbe, this was an interesting episode that happened. The Rebbe told. The Rebbe was also very sensitive, and that we have many hundreds of stories of the Rebbe, how the sensitivity of the Rebbe, obviously Israel, but also sensitivity. So the Rebbe told Rabbi Groner, based on whatever the times was, I don't remember the details, but basically he says, so you only did you sleep shishim neshimis, which is 60 breaths, which is about a half hour. So Rabbi Groner said he slept 45 minutes. And the Rebbe said that there's an opinion that Shishim Hashimis is actually 45 minutes. Oh. So he says, you want to be like David HaMelech? And he laughed. You want to be like David HaMelech? Because David HaMelech only used to sleep less than Shishim Hashimis. He would get up, and like the Gemara describes in Brachas. Yeah. Whatever, however,
there's a harp
that blew, the northern wind that blew the harp and woke him up. That was the alarm clock that he had. But anyway, the point is that the Rebbe laughed, but he was sensitive to the maskiras. He was sensitive to their life, their sleep, and he made that. The Rebbe had, even at the time, you see the time of the whole time from Shmini Atzeres, the Rebbe was asking the doctors, "Are you sure it was a heart attack?" The Rebbe was questioning it, and the reason why is because the Rebbe never lost consciousness. And one of the signs, I guess, I'm not a doctor, but I guess one of the signs is losing of consciousness. And the Rebbe was questioning, maybe it wasn't a heart attack because he never lost consciousness. And you see throughout the story and how it's presented that the Rebbe was always in control. In control, meaning control that he didn't want to leave the 770. He wasn't going to the hospital, and he stood strong.
He walked out himself.
What?
He never walked upstairs himself.
Yeah, he walked upstairs.
No, you have a heart attack, you don't walk up.
Right, and the Rebbe walked up the stairs, locked the door, and the one who got the Rebbe to open the door was the Rashag's wife, the Rebbe's sister-in-law, the Frierdiker Rebbe's daughter, who knocked on the door and called the Rebbe by his name, because everybody was so scared. The Rebbe locked himself in, and the Rebbe said, "I'm just tired from exhaustion, from the." And the Rebbe, and he was always with the doctors. He was frustrated. Why is it taking so long? And the doctors pushed him to do exercise and to walk. And the Rebbe only walked in his room. And then every once in a while, when it was late at night, so because the Rebbe didn't want to bring any attention, and the Rebbe would walk in the hallway. If you were in 770 from the Rebbe's office to the room where you have the hookups. Down all the way to the end. The Rebbe would walk, and then there was the stairs and the counting. I don't know how many stairs the Rebbe would go up. And this was all part of the rehabilitation. So the hospital was there, the rehabilitation was there, everything was there. The Rebbe was in control the whole time.
They wanted to bring him to the Rebbe's house, the monitors.
Oh, we said that before, yeah.
And Rebbe said, I don't live on Patient Street, I live on President Street.
Yeah, not on Fashion Street then.
Patient.
No. Fashion Street, because Fashion Street in Manhattan is the street where the hospital is.
Oh.
So the Rebbe says, I live on President Street, not on Fashion Street.
Oh.
I'm not making, so in other words, the Rebbe saw, that's it. Finished. Chodesh Kislev, no hospital, that's all.
But they said that the monitors were left me done in 770. And they're from the office many hours a day.
Yeah. There was a doctor that the Rebbe didn't like. There was a doctor there, his name was, he came for a visit, and he was very pessimistic, and the Rebbe wasn't happy with it. I forgot what his name was, I forgot the name exactly, but he was Dr. Weiss's superior. He was his teacher. No, not Tischel. Tischel's another one, but there's another one there. I don't remember, but anyway, he came to visit, and he there was a lot of going on. The Rebbe was not very, very happy with him. It's like
He probably wanted to go to the hospital.
yeah, there are people that wanted the Rebbe, and was one doctor in the beginning. He said, if you don't go to the hospital, the Rebbetzin agreed, because the Rebbetzin said whatever the Rebbe wants, that's what the Rebbe is always not in control. And then you see clearly the Rebbe was the whole time, literally, labeled. Rabbi Groner would describe going into the Rebbe and had the hours and when the Rebbe would sleep and what the Rebbe was doing. And he was answering, as we said before, he was answering letters. He was Magia, the Sichas. He was checking over the Sichas. And the Rebbe was, what? At the time, yeah, he was going Pasha because the Rebbe spoke. Bereshis Noach, the Rebbe spoke every Matzoi Shabbos. He would say
It was my mom.
and it was Mamar, yeah, and he would give in to the Bible. The Rebbe shorter. What? Right, and that's that time.
There's a whole section there.
Mayim Rabin, is that Mayim Rabin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few, there's more.
Yeah, but I'm saying that, yeah. So those are the Rebbe would go over. The Rebbe would. This is how. So even though he was in his room, but it was no full day of rest. The Rebbe did not rest. And whatever, he was always in control.
What's your name? What?
Yeah, I think it's kidding.
Anyway,
Well,
Remember, she's a caterer? She's a caterer?